Tonight on KGW News, sending a clear message about a deadly drug.
Nobody's immune from this. Fentanyl doesn't know gender, age, race.
Parents who've lost a child share their pain to try and protect others. Plus, Portland public school leaders vote on whether to add a controversial program.
It's a very serious decision, and it's a decision that should only be made by adults.
And after extension upon extension, it's time to get real. What you'll need to get an ID that's good to fly before next year's deadline. Thank you for joining us. I'm David Molko. We begin tonight on National Fentanyl Awareness Day, hearing from some local families who thought the drug would never impact them and who are now trying to convince others of just how pervasive and dangerous it can be. Our Alma McCarty talked with parents as overdose deaths among young people continue to rise.
Oregon City's Chapin Park, the place where Michelle Stroh says her son, Keaton, met a friend in 2020.
And that friend gave him 3 pills. Keaton took 1 pill. The investigation said that they were OxyContin, but the medical examiner came back and said that there was no oxy in Keaton's pill. It was pure fentanyl, and he was killed instantly.
Keaton was 25 years old.
He's with me all the time, and he's going to help me have more strength to keep going out there and fighting the fight to save these other kids.
Back at Chapin Park nearly 4 years later, Stroh's sharing her story on National Fentanyl Awareness Day to educate and to empathize with parents like Cliff Richardson.
My son's name is Tyson Richardson. December 30th of 2022, I had officers show up at my house letting me know that my son had passed away from fentanyl overdose.
He says Tyson had just returned from boot camp and was just days from reporting to his duty station.
He made a bad decision and got high one more time and 1 pill one time.
On this and every day, these parents hope to spread awareness and understanding.
I come and talk about my son in hopes that one person might hear a message. One parent might have an understanding of, hey, I need to be more open with my kids. You know, it could happen to my kids.
And in sharing this message, create community where those burdened by the grief can lean on one another.
I'd love to see this be huge. More people come in and understanding. Take the shame away. There's no shame in this. Our kids were amazing.
And in Multnomah County today, the health department kicked off an awareness campaign called Expect Fentanyl. It includes messages about the dangers of the drug on everything from social media to bus shelters. They're hoping to show young people just how common it is for counterfeit prescription pills to contain fentanyl. Health leaders say last year, 7 out of 10 fake pills seized by the DEA contained a potentially deadly dose of fentanyl. David?
Which means we collectively have to keep talking about it. Thank you, Alma. To get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now, Portland police say a man shot and killed by officers last night was connected to an armed robbery. The robbery was on Northeast Halsey Monday morning. That evening, authorities served a search warrant at a home on Southeast 124th and say a man inside the house shot at police. That is when officers returned fire, killing that man. 2 other people inside the home were arrested. The 4 officers who were involved in the shooting are now on paid administrative leave. A man has been charged with attempted murder after being accused of attacking a Klickitat County Sheriff's deputy with a hammer. This happened Sunday morning in Dallasport, Washington. Deputies say they responded to a call about a man identified as 31-year-old Christian Smith having what they described as a psychotic episode at an RV park off State Route 14. While they were talking to Smith's mother, they say he ran out from behind the trailer with the hammer, hitting Deputy Tim Naher on the head. The deputy suffered serious injuries, but we learned tonight he is now out of intensive care. And Camas police are asking for help identifying a man they believe was responsible for 2 burglaries. These photos were taken from the doorbell camera of one home he's accused of stealing from yesterday afternoon. He is also, police say, suspected in a burglary today in an area just outside of Camas. The suspect was spotted driving a silver or white colored sedan. If you have any information, please call Camas Police. New tonight, after hours of debate, the Portland Public School Board took a vote on whether an Army-affiliated program known as JROTC should be allowed to return to local high schools. Catherine Cook is in the newsroom. So, Catherine, what did the board decide here?
Well, David, it was close, but they passed the resolution 4-3 in favor of giving JROTC a pathway back to schools. Again, it was very close, and there were conflicting feelings, so much so the board nearly sent it back to committee for further discussion. It was clear, even before the meeting, how strongly community members felt about the issue.
Outside PPS headquarters, protesters rallied against the idea of allowing JROTC programs into Portland public high schools.
It's really kind of unfair to prey upon people because they have a lack of resources in order to fill the ranks.
JROTC stands for Junior Reserve Officers Training Corps. The policy wouldn't automatically bring the programs into Portland high schools, but rather allow individual schools to decide if they want to add one or not. Some people, like Iraqi war vet Mike Preisner, believe there should never be a path connecting kids to pro-military education.
And the only reason I joined the military is because recruiters and JROTC representatives of the Army were allowed in my high school and started indoctrinating me with this fantasy of joining the military when I was 14, 15 years old.
Others, like Marine veteran Mike Eschay, believe JROTC can be a positive resource for students who want or need it, like he did. He wishes others could see that side of it.
As somebody who fought for that right, I'm really pleased that they have the right to protest and say that they don't agree with the Portland Public School District's position. But I'm on the other side saying that for me and a lot of other veterans, it worked really well to find the military. It provided what we couldn't find on our own inside of the school system.
Inside, school board members discussed what the resolution is and isn't.
So why all the opposition to something that does not force a school community to do something, but rather provides a clear path for what would be necessary should they wish to consider it?
In the end, the board's vote reflected that sentiment.
All in favor, please indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
It passed 4-3.
Stop the U.S. war machine! It was about 30 years ago that PPS banned military recruitment on campuses because of don't ask, don't tell. Now later, after federal law overruled that resolution, the school board allowed recruiters back while also allowing anti-war activists to set up tables next to them. David.
Yeah, really important history and context. Thanks, Catherine. Appreciate it. Well, also during tonight's meeting, board members passed a new fundraising resolution. It creates a district-wide foundation to pool and then disperse donations. Right now, some individual schools have their own foundations led by parent volunteers. Supporters of the change say this will essentially help level the field between lower-income schools and their wealthier counterparts. The resolution will take effect July 1st. Developing this evening, Portland police say they believe a man they've arrested for attacking 3 women at homeless camps may have more victims. Police say Zachary Andrews, who goes by the name Cadillac, assaulted 3 women in 2021 and 2022. He now faces several charges, including rape, strangulation, and kidnapping. In one case, authorities say the assault lasted for hours.
What these women reported is nothing short of horrific. It's absolutely terrifying.
The streets are really dominated by men, and so women really try hard to hide when they're living outside for this very reason.
Well, that is Katie O'Brien with the Rose Haven Shelter, who says many female domestic violence survivors are forced to flee their homes only to encounter more violence on the streets. A reminder tonight, if you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, know that you are not alone and there are resources out there. Here is one available 24/7, the National Domestic Violence Hotline, the number 800-799-7233. We have a warning tonight from fire officials about lithium-ion battery-powered scooters after one exploded and nearly caught an apartment building on fire. This was in North Portland's Piedmont neighborhood this morning. Firefighters say the hallways of the building were filled with smoke. They found the burning scooter in a stairwell and then put the flames out. Crews say it's best not to store devices with lithium-ion batteries like scooters in stairways or exit paths and to only charge them while you're at home. Wow. Well, if it felt like 4 seasons in a day today, that is about to change because Matt Zafino, it sounds like summer is about to arrive.
It is, but we've got a cool morning on the way first before we see that warm up begin. Temperatures right now, not that bad, 51 in Portland, and the sky has cleared. The clearing has kicked in. Clouds are going to be tough to find for most of the next week. That's how much dry weather we have coming our way. 44 in Hillsborough right now, 46 in McMinnville. Out of the Oregon coast, it's down to 43 in Tillamook. But if you look at the difference between now and 24 hours ago, so last night, most places are actually a little bit warmer, surprisingly enough. We'll catch up and be colder tomorrow morning than we were this morning. And for that reason, there is a frost advisory up for much of western Oregon, but not all. The top of the Coast Range not in the warning there. And then also the Portland metro area is also not in the frost advisory. From the West Hills basically down towards Lake Oswego and then east to Sandy, not in the advisory because this area should stay warm enough. First of all, because of the city. Second of all, because we expect to see some low clouds forming in parts of Clackamas County that should preclude enough cooling to allow frost to form. And then it's all about the warm up. Here are the record highs for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Friday and Saturday will be the warmest days, and I think we bagged the record on Friday, reached 90 for the first time this year, and then Saturday will be close to the record within a couple degrees. So yes, much warmer weather on the way. So with that in mind, there are some hazards that you need to keep in mind. Everybody's going to be really eager to get out, get in the water perhaps. That water is cold. Most of the lakes and rivers still in the 40s, so cold water shock is a real threat. Climbing season kicking into full gear right now, but I'll show you how much new snow we've had in the last week. It's impressive, and the avalanche danger will be high, and the climbing danger is very real, especially in the afternoons. And then really low humidity here at home. Make sure your plants, your pets, and yourself are well hydrated. More of the warm up, David, in a bit.
Time to break out the shades and the sunscreen. Thank you, Matt. Still to come at 11 on this Tuesday. Good enough to fly. We've got details on the driver license or ID card upgrade you might need in order to sail smoothly through security. Plus, the championships come to the Winterhawks. Details on games 1 and 2 and who they'll have to beat to bring the sweet taste of victory home.